Y'all know about that Washington family project that I have been telling you about? I am so excited to finally be able to talk about the piano lesson. Now, the piano lesson is streaming now, it's streaming on Netflix. This is a film that is adapted from a stage play by August Wilson by the same name, The Piano Lesson. It is directed by Denzel Washington's son, Malcolm Washington, and it is starring John David Washington, Danielle Deadwyler, Michael Potts, Samuel L. Jackson, yada, yada, yada. The film adaptation doesn't stray too far from the stage play adaptation. So, yeah, these are my uncensored, disorganized thoughts on why the piano lesson is a movie that you might want to watch. I mean, you had me at the Washingtons being involved in big, black, bombastic, beautiful cast, but there are other reasons you should watch it as well. When we're talking about the stage play, August Wilson had two questions that he wanted to be answered by the time you finish watching that stage play. The first one is, what do you do with your legacy? The second one was, how do you best put it to use? And those two questions are answered for the Charles family in this movie. Now, the Charles family is a 1930s Pittsburgh era, and this is a family whose ancestral line is traced back, of course, to slavery in the United States. This is a family who escaped the South, Mississippi, and moved up north to Pittsburgh in order to escape the pervasive racism that they had grown up with. Now, this isn't by no means of the imagination to say everything was equal once they got to Pittsburgh, but once they got to Pittsburgh, things started looking up for the Charles family. Now, just like the title implies, the piano is very central to the story that August Wilson and now Malcolm Washington is trying to tell. That piano represents many different things throughout the course of the film, but the one thing that it really stands on is being the family legacy. Now, the family in question is the Charles family. That family consists of that are living right now Bernice, Boy Willie, Whining Boy, Doker, and Maritha. That is the Charles family. There are also a couple of supporting characters that are not part of the family. That's Avery and Lyman. Now, Lyman is a friend of Boy Willie, and Avery is a suitor for Bernice. Bernice is a widow, basically running away from committing again to a relationship. And Avery is the pastor in that area who has been beating down her door because he wants to marry Bernice. So those are the characters. There are a couple of other supporting roles, one of which is played by Erica Badu. But for the most part, these are the characters that we're going to be getting to know in this movie. We're introduced pretty quickly to the conflict of this story, and the conflict is between the brother and sister, Boy Willie and Bernice, because Bernice has in her possession a family heirloom, which is the piano, and she is keeping this piano in memory of her mother. On the other hand, Boy Willie wants to sell the piano because he wants to improve upon the legacy of his father. And so goes the conflict, and I'm not going to get into spoilers, but so goes the conflict over the piano. Now, one thing that I did not expect to see come up in this movie were horror elements. I'm not as familiar as I should be with August Wilson's plays, so I still don't know whether this was something that was part of the plays or was this something that Malcolm Washington decided that he wanted to implement in the film version that it would make it stand apart from the play. Now, besides these stories of like vengeance, of reparations, the story about family responsibility, that is told in the piano lesson. There are other reasons why I think we would be served, well served, to watch the film. Number one is that even though it's placed in the 1930s, so well out of what we could probably imagine right now, we have two people who were raised in the same family who have completely different experiences and completely different reasons for wanting this piano. But no matter how you look at it, the piano represents a kind of trauma that was visited upon this family during times of slavery and even afterwards. It's very haunting to see how that same piano can mean so many different things in one film because we have attached such meaning and sentimentality around these inanimate objects and that they become larger than life. And like I said, one of the representations of the piano is family trauma, generational trauma. And you'll notice throughout the film that it's an awful lot of talk about the piano, but until they really start talking about what they dealt with surrounding that piano, that's when things start moving for the Charles family. The Charles family, as the movie ends, is on its way to healing because they have finally faced the ghosts of the past, per se, and they are literally starting to let go and heal. Even though I told you Bernice was a widow, she lost her husband when he was running around with her brother. She has made it her mission to carry herself like a widow for the rest of her life. We even see that not so much surrounding the piano, but just the fact that her brother and his friend were there, that her womanhood is reawakened. And upon reawakening her womanhood, then you start seeing her be free to release some of the things that have haunted her from her childhood. And yeah, such an excellent movie. Very well done. The performances were outstanding. You had Doker Charles was played by Samuel L. Jackson. Boy Willie was played by John David Washington. Um, Whining Boy was played by Michael Potts, and he was definitely a scene stealer. When he was there, he was the center of attention, and we needed him to be just that. Boy Willie's friend Lyman was played by Ray Fisher, and he put his foot in his portrayal of Lyman for the big screen. Believe he also played Lyman during the stage play, the later runs of the stage play, but he really put his foot in this role. I want to see some of these people who played these characters so magnificently be recognized by their peers in awards season because they did an outstanding job. Bernice was played by Danielle Deadwyler. And if you're not familiar with her game, get familiar with it. She brings such a strategic and intellectual approach to those characters that she portrays. Literally, when these people are on screen, you do not see them. You see the character that they are portraying. And I think that they've done an outstanding job of making these characters feel alive. And that's all you can ask for in a movie, right? That the characters feel real, that you care about the characters. And in this situation, you might feel like, well, whose side am I supposed to be on? That is the beauty of the piano lesson. It's like you can be on Doker's side and be 100% correct. You could be on Whining Boy's side and be 100% correct. You could be on Bernice or Boy Willie's side and nobody would question why you have made the choice that you have made because our lived experiences are different, even when we're in the same family. It was so well done. I really hope that this cast, the director, the execs, which include Denzel Washington and his wife, I hope they get the recognition that they deserve. For number one, for Denzel keeping a promise. Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson kept a promise to August Wilson that, hey, we're gonna bring this thing to life. We're gonna make a movie out of this stage play. And their word is they bond. They did it, but they didn't half-ass it. This movie will be representative of a lot of things in Black America, especially as it stands right now. But one of the things that for sure is represented is a well-made movie by people who understand the dynamics of what the lived experience of these characters might have been. I was watching the after show after the piano lesson. They have a little sit down with the cast and with Denzel Washington and another executive producer, a white guy, and I cannot think of his name. I'll put it here. I'll put it here so that you'll know who that executive producer was. As I watched this, I guess, post movie interview, I realized that even watching this movie, the white guy got something different. And this is not to say, again, that he is wrong. It's just that it's amazing all of what I could glean out of this movie just from being remotely familiar with the struggles of Black people, and also get to see on the other side what a white man thought about the pieces that he saw put together and the movie that was presented. He saw something completely different, and it's interesting to me. I really would like for some of my white audience members especially to reach out to me and tell me, if you watch this movie, what were your key takeaways? And they don't have to be my key takeaways, because we're all watching um, the same movie but with different eyes. I'm really interested in knowing what some of you all thought about the piano lesson, the themes of it, the symbology of it. What do you think that meant? So tell me, do you have any intentions of watching the piano lesson on Netflix? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, do me a solid and help me get to 2,000 subscribers. I've been trying to get to 2,000 subscribers for a minute. With your help, I think we should be able to do it before the end of the year. I'm crossing my fingers, y'all. So make sure that you have made your comment. Let me know whether you're watching it and what you thought if you did watch it. Number two, make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button. You are liking this video, and you're turning your notifications on so that you will not miss the next time we meet right here at the intersection between pop culture and common sense. Because I'm here to talk to you about a whole lot of stuff, but not tea. You deserve so much more than just tea. Peace.